Glenn and I met like 3 months ago, and Glenn finally accepted me on Facebook. Since you added me, what has happened? What have you experienced?
I would say previously I wasn't really all that interested in Facebook. You know, you do updates once in a while for friends, and now since meeting you on Facebook and meeting your followers on Facebook, I have chatted and exchanged photos and ideas with rabbis, with clerics, with people from all over the world, and it's been very, very interesting. I find myself in discussions that I would never have had before. It's really been a very interesting and eye-opening experience. The only downside is I spend a lot more time on Facebook now than I did before, but it's been much more rewarding. I am actually excited about using Facebook now. Before it was more very close group of friends and we just exchanged some ideas. Now it's exchanging ideas with everybody pretty much around the world. It's a lot of fun, and I'm very happy to have met these people. There's some extraordinary people that you can communicate with ideas, and it's amazing what some people will post. The videos, the photos are all very extraordinary.
When you met me, you asked about Taliban's and Kashmir and the armies, and normally you don't have opportunities to ask those questions to normal Americans. That's why you asked me, because I'm a brown guy.
Oh, right,
I'm from Pakistan, right? And you don't meet many people who are willing to talk about it.
Sure.
How, since then, I mean, that's the reason you actually, we had a long talk and then you opened up. And how has it impacted? Did it help in any way? Those conversations, did it help you understand better?
Oh, no doubt. Just looking at the posts from a lot of your followers in Pakistan, it's given me a window into their lives that I wouldn't have had before. And even discussing like a particular topic with you, the first time we met was I think illuminating. But just to get a much more feel of the day-to-day pictures and updates that the Pakistanis have has been extraordinary. Almost all the stereotypes have been pretty much blown away. But it depends on the individual, right? There are people there that are like, they hate India, and it's like, well, you don't want to necessarily get into a big argument about that on Facebook, but it's interesting to hear their viewpoints. And I think it is important for people who are dealing with strangers, essentially, on Facebook, that you can't take offense. You have to understand that people are going to have different ideas. They're going to post different concepts that you may often disagree with, but that's their right, and it's good to know what people think about it. If they're telling you the truth, if they're telling you how they honestly feel, that's a benefit. It's undoubtedly a benefit, even if it's totally different than what you think. If you're getting their honest opinion, that's a valid data point.
So when you met me before that, what was your opinion about what kind of people live in Pakistan, and what's your general opinion, stereotype? And now, has it changed, and what has it become now?
I guess my stereotype might have been that, it's a very poor country with a lot of, maybe not well-educated people, or not that they weren't industrious, but that they didn't really have much of an industrial base there to build on. And since that time, it's fun to see the computer industry there, the communication people. I think, probably before I thought everybody went to school in madrasas, because that's what you see on TV here, So it was great to see the level of education, and also just the level of interest that they have in people outside their country. The ability to communicate with them, exchange ideas with them, and actually see response and an acceptance of some of the ideas that we put forth, or that I put forth, was very kind of surprising. I thought they would have been more closed-minded. I guess, is the image that I would have had previously.
Do you consider yourself a science person? You want facts, you want proofs of many things, whereas most people in Pakistan are religious.
Right.
Did you meet any people who were more interested in science, like, or like they were all religious?
Well, I would say probably still the vast majority of the people that I met through you that were in Pakistan were still highly religious, and that, even though that was unexpected from me, I would say that probably their tolerance was more than I thought. That, yeah, they consider themselves Muslims, but they're not really.
They're not coming after
worried.
you.
Yeah, they're not worried about me posting, atheist views and stuff like that. They were like, yeah, okay, well, that's Glen. So, they wouldn't take offense at it. And there were some that were quite open to that as well. I didn't change their minds. They probably already atheists to begin with. But, yeah, it was much less regimented or orthodox than I would have thought. And the interaction there was very illuminating. Even meeting you was illuminating in that regard, right? And to see your post with the Yamakan and stuff like that was just, that was really, it made me very happy that people are open to that kind of, hey, give and take. It's like, it doesn't have to be so serious and, deadly and stuff like that, Hopefully that type of idea will spread.
What is your message to other Americans after this experience? What should they try to? Should they find 15 minutes a month, an hour a day, a week, a year, a lifetime to experience what you did, to change their views from Fox or anything else?
I've always thought that inevitably evolution works, and as the world grows smaller and people communicate more, that we evolve faster. So the more ideas that can be shared more openly between more people, then that's good for everybody. And it's almost, as long as they're heartfelt and honestly meant and intentionally, then there's almost no bad that can come out of that in the big picture. Individual exchanges may be bad. Long term, it's definitely for the good. If I talk to other Americans, I'd say, yeah, you may end up getting offended. That's probably your problem, and you need to look at why that would happen. But the only downside that I could possibly see for anybody would be that they're spending too much time at their computer. You should go spend time with your children or your community or whatever. But if you want to spend time on the computer,
retired people,
talking to your friends is some of the most interesting way to do it. Let me tell you, much better than watching TV or shopping or whatever. No, go to Facebook, talk to Rehan's friends, and you'll. That's the best time you can spend on your computer.
That's awesome. One of the friends suggested today that telecom industry controls majority of the world's communication, right? So it's 6,000 people in this conference. Literally control majority, 99% of the world's communication. What can this community do to help terrorism and poverty?
The ITW community?
No, just the telecom
The
community. The telecom community.
Okay.
I mean, you're a big company when it comes to giving access to communication. You're making it cheaper for the planet.
Oh yeah.
So you're doing your part, but what else do you think is there possibility? Because I don't consider that everybody in this conference consider themselves as a peacemaker, but they are making a lot of peace. They are making a lot of poverty go away just by doing what they're doing. Is there anything they can focus on, like just to sort of bridge things?
Yeah, the telecom industry right now, as you may know, is under a lot of price pressure. It's very hard to make a profit for many of these customers, and that's why they come to a conference like this. But enabling cheaper communication is a very valuable thing. It's almost something that we take for granted, especially in the U.S. Nobody even thinks about what it costs to call somebody or video somebody, or Facebook somebody. And that idea has to propagate. And I think the carriers are probably doing their part. The people that are not yet really doing their part are the people that probably have a harder job, and that's the local loop problem. You know, how do I get 10 megabits of bandwidth out to somebody on their cell phone, you know, in a cafe in Karachi? You know, that's the type of problem that we need to solve, and the cellular companies are doing that pretty well, but I think they're still not, you know, they're not pricing it so people can really use it well. Maybe it's Wi-Fi that's really the solution. You know, if all the little mom and pop cafes and restaurants and stuff put up Wi-Fi for their customers, that would be, I think, a great thing. Then you don't have to pay your cellular company or your ISP for that. You just log on to Wi-Fi and you can chat or talk or video conference. I had a video conference with my wife in Croatia today. 10 minutes, didn't cost a penny. So, you know, that really needs to be pushed out on a global basis in Africa and Afghanistan and Pakistan and India. And at that point, then you'll start to see some serious changes. And I think it's a big step, evolutionarily speaking. It will shrink the world a little bit, and probably a lot. Hopefully a lot.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you for your wisdom.
Very nice.